Hi everyone, Christine here. I wanted to talk to you about sleep, give you a little bit more information than my last video. Sleep is so important, as we all know. And if you're not getting the sleep you need, especially now, your immune system could suffer. So sleep is super, super important for our immune systems, along with our mental and physical health also. But talking to some of you, I realized that a lot of people have a hard time staying asleep. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you have a hard time getting back to sleep, sometimes it's due to your liver, your digestive system, and your liver. So, in Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, which is the medicine from India, they say that when we sleep, we are restoring and healing our body. So it's extremely important to sleep so that our body heals and we get the restoration and the rejuvenation that we need. And if you wake up between 2 and 4, that is generally liver or spleen time. And so sometimes that can be related to alcohol. And so if you've noticed that sometimes when you drink before you go to sleep, you you may fall asleep easily, but then you wake up and it's hard to get back to sleep. So in my last video, I mentioned NAC to help with the liver. And so this will help to break down alcohol. So if you do happen to have a few drinks before you go to sleep, try to do it earlier in the evening. There's no need to have a nightcap right before you go to bed at 10 o'clock because it's just going to prevent you from sleeping. But NAC is N-acetylcysteine. I can't pronounce it. NACETYL, cysteine. It's usually just NAC. This is the brand from my local co-op. So if you take one of these before you start drinking and one afterwards, it will help. And maybe try to limit it to one glass. The less, the better. So that's one thing. And then if you are not drinking and you still wake up in the middle of the night, it could be due to some other things. It could be also liver or spleen, gallbladder things. So you may want to look at your diet. You may want to look at your exercise. It also could be your nervous system. So one thing that we have to look at, especially now, is how much screen time do you have right before you go to sleep. So number one, you can put on your blue light blocking glasses, because when we're looking at the TV, our phones, our iPads, our computers, the blue light into our eyes is going to prevent us from sleeping. So ideally, maybe you don't look at any screens an hour before bed, but that's, that might not be realistic. Maybe read a book or talk to your partner or meditate, do some pranayama. So those are things that I will talk about in other videos. I did do an alternate nostril breathing video, which you could look for, and also yoga nidra, which are two things that help tremendously right before you go to bed. But for now, if you are going to be looking at screens, put on some blue light blocking glasses and try to limit it to at least 30 minutes before you go to sleep. Okay. The next thing, if you wake up in the middle of the night, is it could be your adrenal glands, so you could be exhausted. And that also is coffee, caffeine, any kind of caffeine. So if you drink caffeine, cut it back. Don't try, just do. Have it just in the morning, or stop it at noon. So if you have caffeine in the afternoon, bring it back. Keep limiting your caffeine so that you keep bringing it back If you have caffeine at 4, do it to 2, then to 12, then to 10, maybe just have it in the morning, 1 cup. It will really make a huge, huge difference because the more caffeine you have, the less quality and the less sleep you're going to get. So definitely look at your caffeine intake and let me know how that goes. I've put a link here to a couple of other things that I talk about when it comes to sleep, so sleeping better. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was what time you go to bed. So when I started yoga many, many, many years ago, the yogis always say that you get your best sleep between 10 and 2. That means being asleep by 10 o'clock at night. And I've experimented with this over the years, and I've noticed that when I am asleep by 10, I sleep much better. I may wake up sometimes depending on what's going on, but I generally sleep better when I'm asleep by 10. So I tend to go to bed by like 9:15, 9:30 at the latest. But there's an Ayurvedic reason and a yogic reason for this. After 10 o'clock, your brain starts to switch on again. And I'm going to explain this in future videos also. In Ayurveda, Ayurveda is the science from India, and your brain starts to switch on. So you know how you have those nights at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night and you're just getting so much done and your brain is like super active? It's because it's your fire time. So between 10 and 2 is Pitta time in Ayurvedic medicine, and it is when you are supposed to be sleeping so that your brain can rejuvenate. So science is starting to talk about how sleep deprivation actually is one of the causes of Alzheimer's and dementia. So just remember that as we start to get older, sleep is super important, and we can keep our sleep going. There's lots of things that can help us to sleep, but we have to look at our diet. We have to look at how much alcohol, how much caffeine, and then don't eat late at night. So ideally, you have a bigger breakfast, a bigger lunch, and a very small dinner. Remember that thing that says, have breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. Like, you know, that there's truth to that. So because at night when you go to sleep, you want your body to be able to restore. And if the digestive system is working super hard to try and process the food you just ate, you're not going to sleep well. And that's the same with the alcohol. So when you have too much alcohol before you go to bed, your body's trying to process the alcohol, your liver's trying to process the alcohol, so you're not going to sleep. So there's so many factors. But back to some sleep basics. So have the room nice and dark, nice and cool. Get to bed by 9:30. Do a little meditation. Do a little breathing. Calm your mind down. Be grateful, especially in this time. The more things you can think about that to be grateful for, the better you're going to feel. You may have to force yourself to do that, and that's okay. Be grateful. Find some gratitude. And if there's things on your mind that are bothering you, start writing them out. Just write them out. And then you can deal with it the next day. So get a piece of paper, write out what you're grateful for, write out what you're frustrated about, write out your to-do list for the next day so that you're not thinking anything you need to write to get off your mind. Put it on paper, because then you can trust yourself that you're going to remember it the next day. So those are a few little things that I just wanted to talk about with sleep. So if you have a hard time falling asleep, try to get to bed a little earlier. Try to do a little meditation and just get things off your mind. Write it down. There's a little tool that I like to use when I want to transform stress, or I want to program something into my subconscious mind, which gets a little deeper into the subconscious mind things. But if you cross your ankles and cross your wrists like this and just tell yourself before you go to sleep, set your intention of, I am going to sleep 8.5 hours through the night and stay asleep. And just tell yourself in that in your mind, it will help you because you're programming this into both sides of your brain, connecting the brain, getting deep into your subconscious mind. And you can use this tool for anything at all, which is super fun. So if there's something that you want to tell yourself that you want to program into your subconscious mind, cross your ankles, cross your wrists like this, close your eyes, and just tell yourself what you want. I put it in a positive statement. I sleep deeply all night, 8 to 9 hours straight through the night, and wake up refreshed. Whatever it is you need. And then when you feel like you've had some kind of shift, so when you do this kind of work, things will start to shift, things will start to transform. Uncross your wrists, uncross your ankles, and just look down and just sort of lock it in to your mind and just see how you feel. So just experiment with that. No one has to see you do it. Just do it. Cross your ankles, cross your wrists, say something positive to yourself, say it over and over again, and then see what happens and let me know. So leave me a comment on Facebook or join my mailing list with the link in the Facebook post and join me on this journey of better sleep, better life, better you. Let me know if you have any questions. I think that's all for now. So take care and sleep well, be well. Lots of love and sweet dreams tonight. List with the link in the Facebook post and join me on this journey of better sleep, better life, better you. Let me know if you have any questions. I think that's all for now. So take care and sleep well, be well, and join me on this journey of better sleep, better life, better you. Let me know if you have any questions. I think that's all for now. So take care and sleep well, be well, and join me on this journey of better sleep, better life, better you. Let me know if you have any questions. I think that's all for now. So take care and sleep well, be well, and join me on this journey of better sleep, better life, better you.